Not a lot of people know this about me, but I'm a guy who does litter walks. What that means is, I take this out, and I randomly walk around, picking up litter, putting it in bags, putting the bags in the bin, feeding the birds, saying hello to people, and then I go home. Which you might think, oh, why does he do that? It's kind of pointless, kind of embarrassing, he doesn't make any money doing that, there's no popularity to be gained by doing that. But there is a good reason why I do this. God in the Bible, in the Old Testament, prescribes precisely what the purpose of a man is in the world. And it's not a long drawn out philosophical discussion, it's not an argument or a debate. God says, you, O man, are created with the purpose of tending to the walled garden. And what that means is the garden, inside of the wall is the family structure, the society. Outside is predators, danger, stuff you don't need and stuff you don't want to come into contact with. You don't go out there. You make sure the wall is good and the garden is good. And how you do that is you pick up rubbish, you plant things, you make sure everything inside is safe and enjoyable. It's a content environment for others to enjoy. And at the end of the day, you can also enjoy it. Now, God also prescribes a purpose for woman. Man and woman are created as equal partners in marriage. God explicitly says this also. But the woman's purpose is different. The woman is described as man's helper. And you might think, well, that's no good. I don't want to be a helper. I want a main role. And this is not the right way to look at things. Man's purpose is to protect and grow and cultivate the garden. Woman's purpose is to grow, protect and cultivate the man and the children. So the man can't do his job without her help, which is why they are equal partners. And it's not the man's job to figure out what his purpose is. He's already got a purpose. So the woman is helping man with God's purpose, which is why they are equal. And it's funny actually, while I'm out doing my litter picks, one of the most oft questions that I hear, so what did you do then? Like I'm doing a community service, I've committed some crime and I'm doing my penance, and when that's finished I'll just stop. No, I love doing my litter walks, I really do. It's one of the most enjoyable things and I've done it for years, probably decades now. And while I'm out there I realise, while I'm picking up litter, every blade of grass is important. Every tiny little square inch of this whole area that I walk around is important. There's no part of this ground, this whole estate and area, that I don't pick over with an absolute meticulous eye. And people might think it's weird. They see me diving in and out of bushes, wading in and out of the rivers, picking out fag butts and picking up people's dog poo and, stuff they wouldn't do. And then I think that's a terrible attitude. Because you might not go wading into those rivers, you might not cover every blade of grass, oh man. But guess who does? Your children will be. They're going to be running out there exploring the bounds of the whole garden right up to that wall. They want to know every blade of grass. They want every river. And so, man, while you're tending to the garden, you're doing it for them more than you are yourself. You don't want them to come across those fag butts and those dog poos. You want them to be able to explore in peace, safety and contentment so that when they come back with the fruits of their experience, when they're learning how to live life and it improves their attitude and their emotional well-being, you don't want to have to worry what they're going to come back with or covered in. So that's why you do the tending of the garden. So man is the provider, making everything nice and safe and secure, bringing back fruit, which is food for eating, obviously. And the woman is cultivating the man and the children. And what that means is, the woman's role is like making sure the man can do his job that God has supplied him with. His purpose isn't complete without the woman, which is the point in marriage. So the man is also responsible for making sure the woman is happy. And if he's doing anything wrong, or he's lost his way, it's the woman's job to bring this to him and say, excuse me, mister, you're not doing your job properly. XYZ reasons, here you go, improve. It's almost like teaching the children, but rather than doing it from a parental standpoint, you're doing it as an equal. Because man's eyes are solely focused on his garden, tending the garden, his purpose, getting his job done, protecting, providing, securing. That's all he thinks about. So it's easy to lose sight of yourself when you're focused on the outside world, and that's where the woman's grace comes in. And the woman's charms. She knows the mind of man. She knows how to get the best out of man. And in fact, without a woman, a man is incapable of completing his purpose in the eyes of God. So I just wanted to make you aware, a little reminder if you've forgotten, those of you who are lucky enough to be in relationships or have children of your own, families, even parents. This applies just as much to parents as it does to children. Man, your job, even though you are allowed to do whatever you like, is to never forget your purpose is tending that garden. And if at any point your woman is unhappy, you're not doing your job correctly. Whereas the woman's job is to make sure you are tended to and you're happy, and the children are tended to and they are happy, because at some future point they're going to grow up, they're going to stop wading through those rivers, picking up fag butts and dog poo on their way back. They're going to be adults, you're going to be old, and the roles will be reversed. At that point, you are an old man, you will no longer want to tend the garden. You will be watching over your children, and they will be taking the place of you, and they will be taking the reins for your purpose. They will become the purpose of you. So keep in mind, woman is man's helper, yes, but not a subordinate. The woman is the lieutenant. She has every bit as much of a decision-making power as you do as a man. The only difference is your domain is exterior, outside, protecting, clearing, securing and providing. Her domain is inside, and that means when you're finished your job tending the garden and you come back, you're in her house and she has to call the shots. So it makes sense to, in a marriage, respect what the woman's feelings and wants and needs are just as much as your own when you're out. Because remember, you're not getting that purpose done without her help. She ain't going to help you if you don't treat her correctly. So that's the end of this video. Bit off topic for me, bit off track, but I thought it's worth saying. So I hope you take that into consideration and keep in mind in your own lives, man is the strong provider, but he's nothing without his woman. And together, cleaved into one being, they can complete God's purpose upon the earth and bring safety, security, provision of bounty, and also happiness, humour, relaxation, contentment. That's the real goal. That's the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now. So that's the God's honest truth from the Old Testament. Now watch while I get review and report bombed by a lot of angry feminists. So anyway, that's all for now. God bless, and I'll see you next time.